Sean Levine will step into the cage with Brendan Tobin in Are You Gonna Fight Me?
I'm gonna fight your ass!
Here on Tapped Out.
That's right, fight me like a man!
Only on the BetQL network.
You know the rules. I want a good, clean fight. When I tell you to break, I want you to step back up my command and break. Now go back to the corner and come out fighting at the bell.
Welcome back into the show. We appreciate you checking us out this Saturday night. Brendan Tobin, Sports Machine, Sean Levine on your radio. And since we can't seem to get along, let's get it on. Segment's called You Gonna Fight Me. Ronda Rousey says that she's the best female fighter of all time. You gonna fight me if I say I don't even have her in my top 5. I got Nunes, Cyborg, Valentina, Joanna Jacek, my love, and Wei Li. That's my top 5. You gonna fight me?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's got arguments over Wei Li. Like, man, I do think that Ronda's importance to the sport and how dominant she was before she lost does get lost because of how it ended a little bit.
Yeah.
She's not the greatest female fighter of all time. There's very few things that are undebatable. Amanda Nunes is the best female fighter of all time. Any other arguments are stupid. Even if Kayla comes and beats her in her twilight, it's a stupid argument. Like, she's the best. Amanda Nunes is the best female fighter of all time, but I would put Ronda in my top 5. If I had to bounce somebody for you, probably Wei Li or Chris.
When you talk about importance, I think she's on the Mount Rushmore of not just women fighters, of UFC fighters all time. Like, for how popular she was, what she did for the women's game. But if you just want to talk about her actual skill set, a little bit limited with all the arm bars. She only had, 12-something fights inside the octagon. There weren't a lot of them. Look at some of these other careers, like Amanda, Valentina.
But getting upset with getting upset with Ronda Rousey for being limited when she had the most dominant move in the sport for 3 years is like getting mad at Conor McGregor for knocking out every featherweight with his left hand. You know, like,
yeah, but what happened
if you couldn't stop but if you couldn't stop it, like, who cares? Like, why do you have to learn anything else? And then, to be fair, like, look, she was beating some Tibet like BetQL with her hands, and that's probably the worst thing. That's probably the worst night that ever happened to her because she thought, oh, I could strike with people when she couldn't. But that armbar, dude, like the numbers of ways she would find that armbar on people when she did the Katzengano, like just off the break inverted, like, yeah, she was something special when it came to not only like how dominant she was. I mean, a little bit like, everybody sitting here, you're fawning over Bo Nickel. Like, that was kind of Ronda. It's like, how long is this going to last before she's able to throw somebody into an armbar and submit them?
Yeah, but Bo Nickel he came on our show and he talked about how much he trains with striking because he knows how good of a wrestler that he already is. You mentioned Conor McGregor in the comparison to Ronda Rousey. That's a perfect comparison. Both absolute superstars, both shot out the gate like a cannon. Everybody loved them. Both, when you talk about importance to UFC, on that Mount Rushmore, but also both one-trick ponies. And what happened? They both kind of faded away. Like, that's what happens when you don't advance your skill set at the best mixed martial arts level inside the octagon. Like, this is not, if you were at a different level and you were Ronda Rousey, you keep winning forever. But what happened once she lost? She lost again. What happened to Conor McGregor? He never defended the belt. So, like, that's the problem is, are they fun to watch? Are they highlights? Are they memorable? Yeah. Are Conor McGregor or Ronda Rousey an all-time great? I really don't think so. Very, very good, and I sound disrespectful. I don't have them as all-time. I'm talking about top 5 fighters in the promotion. I don't have either one of them. I know Conor's like, all right, if you love Conor McGregor,
he's not my guy. I mean, that is a true statement, but that's his run to the title at featherweight was incredible, and I'm sorry that he beat your King of Rio and became the King of Rio, but he did that. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you, but I just think that with Ronda, yeah, it was different. She obviously did not handle losing very well. It's not a great trait from her, but it doesn't take up just because she was a bad loser doesn't take away with how special her winning was before she lost. Like, I feel like she gets graded down on people because she is a sore loser, and that takes away from how special her wins were and how important to the sport she was. And like, it's kind of stupid. Like, who cares how you
No, it's
win,
not.
whether you're
Because
graceful or whether you're a
she's
sore
the
loser? Who
loser.
cares?
She's the
Yeah,
source of all losers.
she is a sore loser. But you want to know something?
Sure.
How you
What?
lose doesn't impact whether or not you're a good fighter or not. It just means you're a terrible, like, you just have bad qualities outside of the ring of graciousness. But who cares? Like, it doesn't mean you're a better fighter or not a better fighter. Like, you could shake the hand of somebody who kicked your ass. You still got your ass kicked.
Okay. She says she's the greatest winner of all time. I know she's the greatest loser. I can tell you that much. Brendan Tobin, Sports Machine, Sean Levine here on the BetQL Network. We've talked a lot about Max Holloway. Unbelievable highlight knockout of Justin Gaethje in the BMF fight at UFC 300. You're going to fight me if I say, if he gets a crack at Alexander Volkanovski for a fourth time, I think Max should be favored to win the fight.
Why?
Have you seen Volk in the last calendar year? Have you seen Max in the last calendar year?
Dude, they've had 3 fights. What are we talking about? They fought 3 times. Volkanovski's beaten the brakes off of him worse every time they fought. It's the silliest thing I've heard. What, if he was, do you know how fat? And I love Max Holloway. I love Max Holloway. I don't think, other than Robbie Lawler, I don't think anybody we've had on this show has given me the goosies more than Max Holloway. Like, the dude I legit look upon as a
we're
legend.
having Jorge Masvidal on the show later on today, right? Just bringing that up.
And I don't mean to be jaded on that, but I've interviewed him 1,000 times. But the point is, Max Holloway, dude, is one of the greats. However, Volkanovski beat the holy hell out of him the last time they fought. And it's like, what is Max gonna do? Volkanovski has the blueprint to beat this guy. You're basically like, oh, hey, Volkanovski, you want to fight Max Holloway again? Yeah, sure. Like, it would be such an. I would run so fast if you told me that Volkanovski was an underdog against Max Holloway to bet Volk.
Jake, is your microphone working right now? I feel like we need like another observer for this one. Can you chime in on this? Am I crazy? Am I crazy to think, this is producer Jake Noerger, by the way. Am I crazy to think that based on the last calendar year, when Max Holloway is knocking out everybody he fights, and Alexander Volkanovski is getting knocked out by everybody he fights, that if we saw that fight in a few months, full training camp, that Volk should maybe be the underdog in the fight? Is that crazy?
It's crazy to think he should be the underdog going in. Is it crazy to think that Max maybe pulls this one out because of some recent circumstances? No. But yeah, no, dude, come on. Volk's going to be like a minus 250 at least.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. And the public's thinking that. Why would the Vegas odds not tell us as much? Pick him. It'd be a pick 'em fight.
Because he's lost to him 3 times. He's lost to him 3 times.
All right. Current events, by the way, is the subject. Apparently, you're still in history class because that was now a while ago. I'd love to see it. Would you like to see it? You don't want to see Max fight Volk again? I want to see it.
I would be down for it. I would be down. I mean, like, look, you're never going to be mad at Max for not getting it, but I kind of want to see him fight Topuria because Topuria sounded like a little bit of a spoiled brat. I got to be honest with you. I feel like the old man, Max Holloway, the daddest man alive, needs to go out there and teach him a little something, you know? Like, it's like, hey, Topuria, you've just gotten here, dude. You know, first you're like, oh, I'm going to jump weight classes, and I want it in Spain, and and I want the BMF. Dude, no disrespect, but Max Holloway has stolen the year. You'll do, like, if that was Conor McGregor, like, it's like, you'll do what you're told. Max Holloway can tell you what he wants to do. And quite frankly, like, if they were to fight on separate fights, whatever, let's just say on a given night, you have Topuria and Max Holloway. They're not fighting each other. Max Holloway would be the main event, not Topuria. Get the holy hell out of here. Have some respect.
You'll do what you're told. Love that line. Mike Perry says that he's been talking with the UFC, and the UFC said back to him that he can't beat anyone in the top 5 of his division. I probably agree with that when you look at it. I say it's still worth, though, re-signing Mike Perry to the UFC. You're going to fight me? Like, if you're ever going to bring somebody back, even knowing that he's a mediocre fighter, that's the guy.
I mean, dude, there's so many fight nights. Like, yeah, of course. Like, why not
Right?
have just a Mike Perry fight night? Like, who can't use a Mike Perry for a main event one week? Like, yeah, absolutely. Like, it doesn't have quite the same barrier that it used to for certain fight nights. But he's, to be fair, I don't know what he's getting paid at BKFC, but I do feel like for him, to be this big fish in a much smaller pond in a sport that just seems perfect for him is great. I think he's built for it. I think that, all the guys, the retreads who are going to come over there and see if they can beat him and he can beat there. I think that's kind of cool for his legacy. I do feel like if he comes to UFC, you have to match him up against certain guys. You have to make him strikers matches. And they're probably right. He's not a top 5 fighter.
Forbes magazine released their list of most valuable combat sports out there, and AEW is worth $2 billion. WWE is worth around $7.5 billion. UFC came in at $11.3 billion. So this sport we love so much, they're doing something right, guys. You're going to fight me if I say Dana White is going to be around for at least another decade.
Not going to fight you because he seems very keen on this. What am I going to do what am I going to do if I retire? Like it felt like maybe when there were new ownership coming in that was more of a thing, that he was possibly going to be done. Doesn't feel like he's going anywhere. He's kind of mastered too, like how to do media in this day and age as well, with the podcast that he goes on or just using his own social media. He doesn't really need to do it the way he used to do it. I see no reason why he has to leave, or unless it's by his choice and he gets really obsessed with the dumbass power slap.
It's not fun. We saw Israel Adesanya in the crowd, and most recently in the octagon, losing to Sean Strickland. You're going to fight me if I say, looking back on it, that was just Sean Strickland's best night, and he'll never fight for a title again.
I'm going to fight Sean, never fight for a title again, because never's a very long time. But I get what you're saying as far as like, did he just have his best night at the office that night? Maybe a la a Cody Garbrandt against Dominic Cruz, and he's never going to get back to that.
Absolutely. That's exactly what came to mind. Like, he was so good every single round. He beat him up, and he's just not really that guy. 1 hour in the book. One more hour coming up right here on the BetQL Network.